Alright, and it looks like they're getting started. Right off the bat, gunert is like a second or half a second behind because he was starting on a like, a file he hadn't used before. So it had to make data for his, um, his memory card. So that happens. But it's alright. So right off the bat, you're going to see some pretty broken stuff in this game. The main thing here that you saw in the first room was scan dashing, where the intended mechanic you're supposed to use is you can lock onto enemies and you're able to dash out of the way of their attacks. But they found that you can use this in any visor, including the scan visor, which has all these fantastic scan points. And what you can do is you can get a dash off of the scans or the enemies or whatever, and you can let go of L and keep all your speed, so you just go flying. And it's one of the fastest methods of movement, till much later on. So it looks like East has a 105 in-game time, and gunert has a 119 in-game time. So, I mean, East has a better PB, which doesn't really say a lot in this game. It's still anyone's race, but it just means that East is more obviously skilled and practiced. But yeah. So gunert choosing to go all the way around the room here, which is pretty slow. It's like 10 seconds or so slower than the Cody ledge, which I believe East did. Cody ledge being named after me because I found it one day. I was bored because I lost a run and didn't feel like resetting, so I was just doing dumb stuff forever, and then I discovered something, so that was cool. Tends to happen a lot, like when people are just messing around doing whatever. So East got a really good Parasite Queen kill there. What you can do, you're gonna see it in a few seconds when gunert does it, probably, but what you can do is you can hold the C-stick up, and you can rapid fire your missiles, and what you can do here is you can just look straight up at the weak spot, gunert opting to scan the pirate, or the Parasite Queen, so that it automatically locks on for you. But you can just, like, the weak spot for Parasite Queen is always active, and so that just lets you look up using R and just spamming missiles using rapid fire missiles, and it's very fast. Very, very fast. It just lasts a few seconds. Alright, so East is going out of bounds here. I'm not sure if gunert will be doing the same thing, but if East gets a first try, like getting out of bounds all the way through the frigate, then he's going to be very far ahead. If gunert doesn't go out of bounds, then he's going to be taking an extra almost a minute of cutscenes, and also another minute or so of in-game time. So yeah, gunert going inbounds here, which is... this game is timed normally by in-game time, so normally this wouldn't be as big of a deal as it would be in an 80% tournament. Like, so basically what I'm saying is he's going to be losing a lot more RTA than he does in-game time, when the game is normally timed using in-game time. So I think gunert is gonna be, assuming he gets a decent escape, about a minute and a half time loss from East, just from the escape. Whereas normally it's, I think, 45 seconds of cutscenes here, inbounds. Nice, you got that transition. What you can do while in that room that East was just in, transitioning into the hallway is quite hard. Like, like it's consistent, but it's just really annoying because the collision there is bad. Ooh, East made a mistake here. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to fall into the... Like, you want to have the room load around you here, but East messed it up, and so the room loaded and he wasn't inside. So he's gonna have to do the backup, where he jumps up and morphs into the side of the room. Oh, is he gonna get it? Oh, okay, that was really close. So that was an alright escape. Could have been better. But yeah, he didn't fail it, which is the big thing. And yeah, so Beast is a couple minutes ahead of Gunert at this point. That was really close. I don't think I could have recovered that. Getting stuck in the wall there. I've never seen it before. It's just not a good thing to have happen. Alright, so more about scan dashing is that right here you're gonna see East get space jump first. Normally it's, I think, the sixth item that you're supposed to get in the natural sequence of items. But instead, you can just do a scan dash off the ship and land on a rock. That lets you just get it right away. First item in the game. And you're gonna see later on that space jump this early just completely breaks open the early game. That was a decent Talon Canyon there. Looks like Gunnert's stream may be having some issues, but that's alright. Spliced run for Kappa. Also, he's opting to run with Fusion Suit, which in the early game is good content because I actually really like the Fusion Suit that you get when you start the game, but Fusion Varia is just really ugly and looks like puke. So that's a thing. No, East. Jump. No, East. Okay. So yeah, what he did there is in this room, using space jump, he got a missile. So now he does not have to go all the way into Chozo for a missile launcher. And he also was able to grab a energy tank, which is very handy, especially in the early game. And it's gonna come into play later on as well. It's just really good having extra health. You can skip that energy tank, but it's not recommended even for like top level runners because it doesn't really cost that much time and it just makes the entire game so much easier and more consistent. I believe Justin, in his segmented world record that got released a few days ago, he opted to skip that E-Tank because he wanted to get every last second he could. And it's also a little bit easier in segmented because you have these save stations which refill your health. Did Gunner just get the missile after the E-Tank? I don't know if I've seen that before. I think it's slower if you don't do it optimally. I think a timing video came out recently where they timed it, and with optimal movement it's like 0.1 seconds faster to get the missile afterward. But everyone just goes for the missile first. So kind of interesting that Gunner went for the missile second. So right here, East is doing a pretty annoying room. It can be hard to do fast. I don't like this room very much. If you fall in it, you cost yourself a lot of time. But it's one of the most important ones because it gives you the charge beam. Charge beam acquired, yay. Um, Charge beam is very important for basically the entirety of the run. It lets you charge your beam up more, obviously, do a lot more damage. Makes all the boss fights a lot easier and faster. Except for Flogger, I guess, but you don't really use any of your beams much. So what you're seeing East do there is he locked onto the door with his missile. Like, he locked onto the missile lock on the door, and so what that allowed him to do was he just jumped up and then shot a missile at the door, and that way while he's jumping up to the next spot, the missile hits the door, and it's gonna come in really handy later on to have that door like opened up and ready for use. It's very important later on. Alright, so this is Zoid. This is one of speedrunners' least favorite parts of the run. It's basically all RNG, and there's nothing you can really do about it, except execute it well. Basically how this works is the fastest possible time is 35 seconds faster than the slowest possible time. There's 4 phases to it. The first phase has 5 seconds of variance, and the other 3 have 10 seconds each. And what you'll notice, or what I'll say about it, is that I think this is a pretty good Zoid actually so far. But an average Zoid will die immediately upon the music looping. So you can kind of tell how good your Zoid is based on when the music loops. Open up, Zoid! Okay, this Zoid is pretty bad so far actually, I was wrong. Let's see how fast the last phase is, but it doesn't look good so far. Alright, that was like 5 seconds slower than the average Zoid, so pretty bad. But it's alright. It happens, nothing you can do about it. Again, for Justin Segmented, I believe he was resetting Zoid to get a really good one, which can be a real pain because it's just RNG. And it's quite a bit of time loss if you get a bad one. So Zoid isn't really a reset point, but it's just one of those things where it's like, there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just not very fun, to be honest. Oh wow. Looks like East is going for the dash off the, I don't know what that thing is called actually, I don't remember. The Stone Toad. But yeah, that's a strat that I don't see a lot of people do. It can be really fast if done well, but I don't think East executed it perfectly there. Alright, so East is being a smart man. He's picking up the save here. It's gonna come in handy later because the boss coming up, Flogger, has a chance of killing you outright. Just because of how it works. But more importantly, there's a trick coming up where if you fail it, then you lose like 8 minutes. Because I'll explain it later on, but if you fail it once, you cannot try it again. And you have to come back with more items. And so it's faster to just reset and kill the boss again. And then give it another try. Gunert unfortunately still having stream issues. Also, gunert opting to do the puzzle here, which means he most likely will not be doing IBBF wall crawl later on. I'll explain more of IBBF later on when East gets to it, but it's just a wall crawl where you can basically, I'll explain more later on, but you can just get ice beam super early on using it. So anyway, this is not a very fun boss fight. It has 4 damage, like 4 bomb slots you need to damage. And once you hit the 4th one, the boss dies. And the execution on this boss is pretty fun, but it's just not very fun because whenever you hit one of the bomb slots, it's like a really big cutscene that you have to wait through. And you have to do it for every single one. But the first bomb slot, you just hit the mirror and then you roll into it. The second and third ones, you actually do something special. You might have seen it already. But you just dash and you land on top of the bomb slot. And then you can just hit the bomb slot from outside. It's because it's not actually a true bomb slot. It's actually just a damage trigger, vulnerable to bomb damage. And so that lets you just hit the damage trigger from outside and break the bomb slot and thus damage the boss. East having a pretty good fight there. Also, I noticed that gunert also taking the save, which is good content because dying to Flogra and losing 15 minutes because you didn't save isn't very fun. So yeah. They didn't make the same mistake I did where I completely just forgot to save even when I landed on Talon. Alright, and another very cool and fun part about Flogra is that once you kill it, you have like a 30-second cutscene to watch, and then when you pick a Varia, it's a 35-second cutscene. So just extremely fun, very cinematic, very epic, and yeah, runners love it. Everyone loves it. Alright, so East getting the Varia suit now. It's, for those of you that don't know, it's really important for when we go into Magmor Caverns because it negates all heat damage. So you basically cannot finish a run of the game without doing it, without getting this. It's actually possible to get through Magmor without getting Varia suit, but it's really hard. Anyway, this is the really hard trick I was just talking about. This is early wild bomb jump. Basically, East is timing his bombs and listening very carefully so that he's basically getting stuck in a corner here and holding upright. And he is able to get enough friction where he slows down slow enough, like he falls slow enough due to the friction. And that lets him chain bombs all the way up, and the timer can refill before he has used 3. And he gets a good early wild, which is really important, because if he failed it, he would have had to come back with supers and spider ball, which is really slow. Or he would have had to do the backup wall crawl, which is also quite slow, but can be done faster than just coming back with extra items. But in a PB attempt, if you fail that trick, it's just a reset. You cannot do anything about it, unfortunately. East's trying to get the, oh cool, East got the rare ghost animation Pog. Luckily it was on the first ghost, so it's not actually going to cost him any time. But, anyway, what he's trying to do here is he's trying to get a stun lock on these ghosts. If you time your charge beam shots well, you can actually get stun locks on the ghost and just keep on hitting it over and over and over until it's dead. And that's the optimal way to do this. He's actually doing quite well right now. The rare ghost animation is always fun. It's like, It's technically consistent. It just depends on when you hit the ghost in its animation. But for some reason, sometimes when you hit the ghost and it dies, it doesn't think it's dead or something, and then for like 10 seconds it just stands there, looks at you, and then it dies afterwards. Which is really annoying when it's the third ghost especially because the the artifact does not spawn until they're all dead. So you have to literally stand there for 10 seconds because the thing is taking forever. So yeah, that was a pretty good fight. Alright, so Gunert coming up to early wild here. Let's hope he gets it. Early wild is one of those tricks where it's just like, it's kind of weird. Like, even the most high level runners fail it once in a while. It just happens when you're running this game. So, looks like he had a fumble there. He was at the top, but then he missed one bomb, and then he had to go all the way back down. Yay, okay. Gunner having a little slip up, but it's okay. He didn't fail the trick, which is good. So that artifact that East just picked up, the rock that it's contained inside, it's thought that you're supposed to be able to break the rock with a super missile, but I guess they didn't assign the right damage type, and so it's vulnerable to missiles. And so even just in casual play, if you wanted to, you could just missile it twice and then get it. Although in casual play, you wouldn't have space jump coming through here the first time, so it can be collected without space jump pretty easily, but you need to like know how to do it. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like, you know, you don't really need what they thought you needed to grab it, which is a running theme in this game. You can pick lots of items up with less than what the developers intended you to have while picking it up. Alright, so East opting to go for the race tank. Never mind. He had a little slip up with his bombs, so he probably is going to come back and grab it after Vendrana. Save a little bit of time over waiting there for the platform to respawn. Let's see if East is a savage and skips this cutscene. Oh, hell yeah. East is a gamer, he's not skipping the cutscene. Although this is a any percent, like, RTA race. If you really wanted to squeeze every last RTA second out, you would skip that cutscene. But, for in-game time runs, you wait out that cutscene, and what happens is Samus takes a few steps forward, and then right after you come out of the cutscene, after you wait a few seconds in the cutscene, then you're in a spot where you can just dash, and it's about a second or so faster, I think, in-game time. Holy, wow, I'm impressed. East going for the super awesome strat there. It's just a new strat that Justin DM, the world record holder, discovered, I think like a week or two ago. It's a little bit faster than what they were doing before. Interesting to see that from East. I'm not complaining though. Oh, rip. East fell down, but only costing them like a second or two, so it's fine. So, East just got the boost ball, which is actually the fastest item in the game. As you can see, he's just flying through these rooms now. A lot of the times, it's he won't actually be using it in the rooms though, because it's just not convenient in a lot of cases. Like for example, it takes a full second to morph and another full second to unmorph. So in most circumstances, it's more convenient to just maybe take a dash through the room instead of boosting, because you'd have to morph and then unmorph and morph and unmorph over and over again. But in a lot of cases, it does save quite a bit of time. So he's doing Wave Sun here, which is what I like to see. Good man. Right now, he's trying to force unload shorelines by jumping to the side of the room while the next room is loaded and transitioned into. And as you saw, that made the shorelines room go invisible. And then he can do the same thing, basically, and force load this room. It's important that he force unloads the previous room, because it is known that if you load this room forcefully without unloading the previous room, then the game will crash, because it is too much stuff for the game to be, loading at once. Not enough memory, and so it will crash. Sorry about that, gamers. My mic, or my internet went out for a few seconds. I unfortunately did not see his backup. Oops. Just trying to find the right thing here. Alright, sorry about that. Um, anyway, what East is doing here is that he was able to... Basically, how this trick works is he needs to trick the game into thinking he's in the next room when he's actually in the previous room, which can only be done out of bounds. At least right here. So that's the whole point of going out of bounds in the first place. But since the game thinks he's in the other room when he's not, he was able to boost back in bounds through the collision, hit the bomb slot, and then charge up his, basically it disables certain collision checks, which lets you, get stuck in the wall, and then just, what happens is you have no friction at that point. And so if you hold a certain angle, then you'll just continually build up your rotational velocity exponentially. And what that allows you to do is eventually you'll hit the... I don't remember exactly what it is, but a number of rotational velocity that the game cannot calculate anymore. And so it just refers to it as nan. And with nan rotational velocity, if you're in the corner like that, you can boost twice, and you will pick up Artifact of Sun and Wave Beam at once. So yeah, and now okay. So you saw, I'm pretty sure I didn't actually get to see it exactly, but I'm pretty sure East got a really cool dash across the big gap to get this artifact super quick, which is nice. It's pretty fast to do that. And here you're just gonna see how much like speed you get from boost ball. It's just insane. All right, now coming up is the fiery shore. See if he manages to get hit really fast. Okay. He didn't even attempt to go for it and just take a little bit of a safer route. Interesting that East opted not to get the race tank on the way back, which is probably going to come into play later. It's less safe, but it does save quite a bit of time. Probably, I think, about 12 seconds or so. 8 seconds in-game time, and then however long the text box is. Oh wow, he got an instant unmorph there. Interesting. Alright, so this is one of those spots where it just looks cool to climb the room because there's like spots you skip and other random standable collision that lets you do things much quicker. Looks like gunert just reset there. I'm not sure when he's saved last. Hopefully it wasn't Flagra. Otherwise that's a pretty huge hit to hit gunert. Okay, he saved and Fendrana drifts. Which is, it's kind of sucky. He lost a few minutes there, but he didn't lose like a lot of time, which is fine. I'm gonna say that while East has taken a formidable lead, I'm gonna say that it's really still anyone's game, to be honest. Especially because East does not have a race tank. There's a chance he could die later on. And if that happens, it's probably going to happen in Mines, or maybe in Fendrana too. So we'll see what happens. East messed up the dash here, so he has to take the backup, which it's taken him a few attempts. Okay, there he goes. There we go. There's more standable collision. That's one of the running themes in this game, is that there's just standable collision everywhere. One of the things that they did for this game is that I believe they used like an algorithm to determine what stuff is standable and what isn't. And then a lot of the times, stuff that looks like it's just background, or it doesn't really have anything to do with anything at all, it's actually standable, and you can use it to skip like stuff, which comes in quite handy in 21%, where you don't even have it's very handy for 21%, especially where you completely skip the space jump boots entirely, and for the entire game you don't have a second jump, you don't have boost ball, you don't have a grapple. So yeah, 21% in this game is super cool, and it can be executed very well. Alright. Oops. Need some water. I didn't really get to talk much about it last time because my internet went out at the time. But right now, East is doing the Powerbomb IS. Oh, hold on. I think gunert. Damn, he fell again. It's possible to recover this, but it doesn't look like gunert is interested. He's gonna take another reset. But anyway, um, East is doing the Powerbomb IS, which in a few moments is going to let him get a Powerbomb much earlier than intended. It's the same ordeal as the other thing. Whereas in the last one, he had to go out of bounds in order to transition a room and then go back into the previous room while basically the game thinks he's in the wrong room. And then he uses that to, it disables collision checks, like I said, and then he can get infinite speed in a wall that way. But it works here because your hitbox as a ball is slightly wider than your hitbox as a person. And so you can get in between the boxes and then morph, and then you're slightly wider than the space between the box and the wall, and then you can do the same thing where you have no friction and you can get infinite speed. Okay, it looks like gunert is just opting to kill the boss this time instead of going out of bounds. One of the results One of the nice things about the infinite speed, or the Wave Sun infinite speed, is that you get both items and you hit a cutscene, like you hit a cutscene at the same time. And because of the fact that you hit a cutscene, you do not have to worry about getting what we call light shell. You might have seen it a few moments ago from East, but basically when you get infinite speed, your camera, um, your camera position is not a number, and which just has really wacky effects on the game. And like, basically it blinds you, and you can kind of cancel. So like, earlier East did a strategy where he canceled the infinite speed part of infinite speed, where basically how that works is he used a fixed camera trigger to unmorph and then morph again. And because the camera was fixed where he morphed, it allowed him to have his camera back when he morphed again, but he could still not unmorph and see at the time. And that just lets him boost through the rooms to get to the save station quicker. But in order to cancel light so fully, you need to hit a cutscene, and the save station counts as a cutscene to cancel the light shell. And that's the main reason why we need to shoot the missile at the door earlier. Anyway, this is IBBF now. I believe in the old route, you used to do this before even killing Flagra, hence IBBF's like acronym, Ice Beam before Flagra. Oops. East hit a camera trigger there and had to, like, he couldn't stick to the wall because of that and fell. But, yeah. It's a little unfortunate, but it's okay. Not a big time loss. But yeah, now we call this Ice Beam before Flagra after Flagra, because the new route has you do Flagra and get boost ball and stuff. So yeah. But a lot of runners still just call it IBBF, including myself. Oh wow. The morph ball is still like wanting you to be in that spot where the camera trigger was, so even when he was extremely far away, it was still where the trigger would be. Oh no! He's hit the ghost trigger here, which is kind of bad. It basically locks the door. Let's see if you can get the backup here. But it just makes the door harder to hit, and you have to hit it before you jump. This is pretty slow. But anyway, Gunner is actually doing the third important IS for any percent. Oh wow, he actually got in bounds. Heck yeah. Good news. The one Gunner is doing right now is basically the backup strat for those who don't want to. Oh my god, he got turned around. What? That's hilarious. I love that. Oh wow. But yeah. Um but yeah, the this is the Sun IS. It lets you get the artifact of Sun really early and basically lets you pick it up without getting a plasma beam, which is actually what you need to get this um the artifact. It's what you need to get the artifact without glitches. But as you can see here, Gunner still has infinite speed because he's like a ball of energy, so he can't really boost through the rooms lest he risk crashing the game. But it's okay because he's just heading towards the elevator, and the elevator counts as the cutscene, and that will, let him cancel the infinite speed. Also, if you do the Sun IS, it's a free strat where if you just boost in shorelines, you get a missile for free. It's pretty nice. Literally free missile. You press B for a missile. Looks like he's got life growth tunneled a little bit there. This room is like notorious for being the worst room in the game because it literally does not function as intended, and the collision in there will just literally it will just cancel all your momentum entirely, and it will just stop you for some reason. You're losing all your speed, and it's really annoying, and it happens way too much. And it's not that big of a time loss unless it's continuously being awful. And you have to go through the room twice. Nice. Or you just got stuck randomly in the collision. So normally you come here with only one power bomb in any percent. And you use the power bomb in the previous room. Okay, he did not get life growth tunneled again, thankfully. But you used your power bomb to get into that room. But luckily, the designers were smart, and they put an enemy behind you that's guaranteed to drop a power bomb, and so it's handy for any percent, because you only have one that you have to use to get in the room. This room is one of those rooms that takes a really long time to load, so it doesn't really matter if you shoot the door really fast. So Gunner's on the way to life grow. Oh wow, he's literally missing that missile. I don't even know if he noticed, but he had to have noticed, right? He just completely forgot about that missile. That's really odd. Did he miss another missile earlier? I don't remember where the last one is. Oh, he's getting this missile as a backup. Interesting that he went for that one instead. I've never seen that before. It's not actually that slow either. It's just kind of, I guess, a different way of doing it. It is slower, but I guess if you miss that one, you can do that as a backup. Having good backup strats for when you fail stuff is one of the marks of a really good runner. Like, you can play optimally really well, but even top level runners make mistakes. And knowing what to do if you mess something up can save you a lot of time in any game that you decide to learn. Backups are important. You need to have backups for your strats, and your backups need to have backups. It's really important for some games, especially ones like these where some mistakes can cost well over like several minutes. That was Twin Fires Tunnel, a free room kappa. It's kind of hard to do optimally, but at least getting through it no problem. It may have looked slow when East fell in the lava there, but it actually did not lose any time. He just lost a little bit of health. But he had already hit the load trigger by the time he hit the lava, so it was loading while he was in the lava, so it doesn't really matter. The fact that he was, spending extra time in the lava. Oh wow, I'm impressed. East going for the spinner skip here. He's jumping his second jump too late and not getting the maximum amount of height, sadly. It's no big deal though, he just used the spinner instead. Interesting that he decided to try to go for it though. Alright, coming up is a real swag strat. Let's see if he gets it. He's going to try to jump off the slope here, get a slope jump, and get up all the way to the door in one jump. He failed it. Normally, I would just go up the slower way, because you're closer to the slower way at this point, but he's trying to get that really fast strat because he wants that swag point. And he gets it, third try. I actually don't know if you fail it once and you land up there, I don't know if you actually, like, save time by going back and trying it again. Or if you just take the slower way. Dang. Unfortunately, East had a bit of a hiccup getting through Watch Station there with the flying pirates. I keep doing that wrong. Hold on. So you saw there that East was able to jump on the pole and basically skip Fireball. That's a running theme in this route. You're going to be skipping a lot of like Spider Ball tracks because you don't get Spider Ball. It's really slow and boring. No one wants to do it, and it's quite a bit faster too, especially RTA. Oh wow, he's getting the really fast strat up the Fendrana's edge. Impressive. It's the one he did takes a lot of practice, and I'm not very good at it personally. Impressive that he, got it first try. Also, I saw someone was asking what their RTA PB was. I'm sorry about that. I kind of got ahead of myself. This game is timed via in-game time, so I forgot to even mention the RTA of their PBs, but I'm just finding out for you right away. So, Gunert hasn't listed his RTA, but it's probably about in the 142-ish range, I think. Somewhere around there. But East, my man, has, let's see, East has a 126.26 RT. So we have about 40 minutes left in the run. Let's see if he gets this room properly. Nice. No hiccups at all. Very nice. Climbing that room quite fast can be really hard. No power bomb, unfortunately. So East is going to need a power bomb drop here because he does not have one in his inventory, and he's going to need one later on. Now, every single item, or every single box and every single enemy here, I believe, every single thing, I believe, has a 2 in 7 chance of dropping a power bomb. And I think if you destroy the 2 boxes at the bottom and the box at the top and check Edward, being the pirate who jumped through the window, we just call him Edward. The chance of getting a power bomb drop after checking all of those, I believe, is about 75%. And I don't think East got lucky enough, sadly. But, fortunately, since I'm not sure, we'll be able to tell pretty easily in a few seconds here when I see him in Morph Ball. Oh wow! I saw a power bomb up top there. If I were him, I would just get it. Yeah, he's doing the smart move, just grabbing that. I don't know how he missed that. Edward. No Edward luck today. So East just did the safe choice, getting that power bomb. There's a whole bunch of boxes in that room up top, so the chance of you coming out of that room with no power bomb is extremely low. Alright. East doing the smart move and getting the Tank of Shame there. We call it the Tank of Shame. Well, more accurately, the rest of the Prime community calls it the Tank of Shame. I just call it the Tank of Brains. You know what I mean? Because it's actually faster than Race Tank. The only problem is, obviously, it's much later in the run. Most top-level runners will opt to skip both, because you don't need them both. Or you don't need either of them. My voice is getting real raspy. I'm sorry. All right, so we have the thermal visor, which actually is technically not needed, but it takes almost no time to grab. Well, it takes almost no time, in-game time to grab, so all the runners just get it. But in the most optimal run possible, you would skip it, especially if you were timing for RTA. But everyone just grabs the thing because it's just convenient. It's literally right there and only takes a couple seconds in-game time to grab, I believe. I have... No, I don't have any tea. I have a glass of water here with me. Always a good idea to do. You know. Sorry. So right there is what he needed the extra power bomb for. If you did not have a power bomb by this point, then there's a couple backups you can do. If this were to happen in a PB run, then basically run is pretty much over unless you happen to get lucky. But I personally like to go into the previous room, and the Triclops in there have a chance of giving you one. And it was recently discovered that you can actually shoot past the rocks and suck in the power bomb from the guy behind it. Because, like, the guy behind the rocks has a guaranteed power bomb drop, and you can actually shoot him from behind. And it's possible to, like, it's possible to suck in the power bomb, but then you end up using it for the rocks in front of you, and then you need one immediately again as you go into mines, which there's boxes in the first room in mines that have a decent chance of giving you one, but it's not guaranteed, and you'll end up screwing yourself over there instead of in that room. So, in short, it's just a bad idea to miss a power bomb, especially when the control tower and stuff have such a good chance of giving you one. I love it when when you start, like, he was kind of in midair slightly when the cutscene started, and what happens when you're in midair when a cutscene happens is you literally look at your feet in the cutscene, and then you come out of the cutscene looking at your feet, and then you have to look all the way up, and it's kind of slow and annoying. So kind of silly when that happens, but it happens sometimes. Alright, so this is another one of the main RNG components of the run. Holy, oh my god. Hold on. Can someone clip that for me and tell me how long that maze was? What the hell? That was incredible. So, so what happens there is there's about 300 different possible mazes you can get here. Um, the lengths are, they can range from 15 to I believe 55, not including 53, and only odd numbers. No even number mazes. And I believe he might have just gotten a 15 or maybe a 17 there, which is extremely lucky. So, yeah, he probably saved I don't know, 15, 20 seconds over a really bad maze. Just by being lucky, so good on him. So, alright, so this is MQA. This is one of those rooms famous for being really stupid. What the hell? Okay. He just got stuck on stuff and it was dumb. This is one of the rooms famous for being pretty stupid and not very consistent because of how the Metroids behave. So it's really hard to do really, like, this room is hard to do optimally, and it's even kind of hard to do not so optimally. Alright, he got out decently quick. He had a hiccup, but that's not an issue at the end of the day. Alright, so gunert on the left here is actually opting to do the slower strat, which is fine. It takes a little bit of practice to get the R jump that Beast was going for. But like I was saying, if you fail the R jump and you land over there, you're actually closer to that spot on the map. Which I believe makes it quicker to just instead go for the slower strat instead of going all the way back to try the R jump again. And potentially fail it again. East was too slow, unfortunately, going through that room. And so it caused the Metroid to latch onto him. He's taken quite a bit of damage, actually. He's probably going to need to take the save here. He's playing it really safe, which I don't blame him for. Alright, next up is Metroid Quarantine B. This room is also famous for being bad. Oh no, he messed it up. Okay, he got it anyway. He was a bit slow getting into the room, so the pirate literally landed on top of him. And he's a smart man, so he is going to take the safety save here. Because in a minute, he's going to be fighting Omega Pirate, which could potentially end your run if you don't do it properly. I love how that pirate, if you don't go up the ramp far enough, that pirate does not get triggered. And he just stands there while you run by him. It's pretty funny. Alright, so this is Omega Pirate. This is probably the best boss in the game to do, speedrun-wise. So, I forgot to mention this earlier, but pirates are actually pretty stupid, and they literally let you... So, the way they work is that they won't start attacking you until they see you, and they'll see you once you walk straight in front of them. So you can just avoid them seeing you by literally strafing to the left. Looks like he got the optimal trooper skip there, which is good content, because failing trooper skip is really scary. It skips pirates, and it actually saves a little bit of time too over the animation. Alright, so this is looking to be a pretty clean fight so far. Let's hope he finishes it off properly. Interesting choice going for a power bomb on the last pool. Oh no. Okay, this is fine. He'll finish the fight as intended without having to do a second cycle. But now, I don't know if he noticed, but now he unfortunately has no power bombs, and he's going to need one in a few minutes. So hopefully he realized that, and he's going to break some boxes and maybe kill some Metroids for the power bomb that he needs coming up. Alright, and now he has gravity suit, see? He's wearing a gravity suit. Just kidding, forehead. Phase on suit acquired. So now he has phase on suit, which is really handy, because now he takes no damage to Phazon, and he takes a lot reduced damage. Since you skip Gravity Suit in this route, and pretty much every 80% route since like 2004, the Varia suit has a inherent damage reduction of 10%. Gravity suit, I believe, is 30%, and Phazon suit is 50%, which is and he skips gravity suit, so his suit was reducing 10% damage. Now it's doing, like, reducing damage by 50%, which is a pretty significant jump. So the chance of him dying is not very high anymore. Okay, and luckily, he killed those Metroids for a power bomb jump, which they luckily gave him one. Which is good news. Dang. There's a strat there where you can, where you bonk off the wall, and then when you bonk off a wall, sometimes it sends you straight up a little tiny bit, and what you can do is you can hit the wall, and if you boost while you hit the wall, it'll send you straight up enough, and you'll be able to grab that, that artifact without having to use a bomb, and you save 1 second. Actually, probably like a second and a few frames too, because you don't go up as high. Alright, and he had a clean Metroid Quarantine B. It's much easier to go through that room. Second time. Because the, I'm sorry. Because the, Metroid is in a super convenient position. Unfortunately, he does not have a second power bomb as far as I noticed, which means he'll have to either farm some missiles coming up manually, or he'll have to, you know. But there's a strat coming up where I'll explain it later, actually, in a few minutes. That was super clean. It was super clean. Super fast room from east, which is good news. Good news, bears. So, you may have noticed that last time he was here, he hit the boss trigger on purpose so that he could jump off its head. But now it's faster to just skip fighting the boss entirely and just go up and jump over the trigger entirely. Yeah, so here, what you normally do is you just boost into the elevator and lay a power bomb so that it breaks the boxes. And it breaks the boxes, and then you're able to suck them in using your charge beam. But he had to lay a manual, like a normal bomb. Alright, so this is spiderless shafts. Probably the most difficult part of the skipping spider in this game. He's going to need to get a bomb space jump, which he got actually first try. Very good news. With that bomb space jump where he... It's kind of a lot to explain, but for about 22 frames after you leave the ground, you are in a different jump state from normal, like, mid-air movement. And for 22 frames after leaving the ground, you can actually... The game considers you to be standing on the ground if you're in Morph Ball. But if you know, normally you can't do anything with that because the unmorph animation is 60 frames. But if you manage to obstruct the camera and get an instant unmorph that way, then you can use that 22 frames after you leave the ground and just input a jump as well, on top of your bomb jump, which allows you to get a bomb jump and then a space jump on top of that, which is really good for getting much more height and is needed for that shaft. Luckily, his spiderless shafts went really well. He got them both first try. Alright, Gunert here, killing Thardus, opting not to do any of the other spiderless stuff, which is fair. Spiderless shafts is actually really hard, and it takes a lot of practice to pull off properly, and in a manner that will save time. Because, in essence, what you are skipping by doing spiderless shafts is Thardus. And the time that it would take you to kill Thardus, that is the amount of time that you were saving by doing the shafts. And spider skip in MQA, and spider skip in everywhere else. Alright, this is ore processing. I kind of started to explain it a little bit late, but it's just another one of those examples of the fact that standable collision in this game is completely broken. And, like, there's way more stuff that's standable than obviously intended. And, fun fact, you can climb to every layer in this room without even using Spider Ball or your bombs once. And that includes going to the very top, which is what you need to do. Unfortunately, East is having a little bit of trouble with the last jump there, which is the last jump is the hardest one, unfortunately. The thing that sucks about it is that if you fail it once, like if you fail the last jump, it's over like the whole room, so you just fall all the way down. And it's kind of a big time loss. East may be a little nervous or something. I'm not sure what's causing him to fail it so many times. Dang. I think that time he jumped too early, which caused him to not get enough height. For that last jump, you need to jump at the apex of your first jump, and that's how you maximize the height and make it up to the top. Okay, and he made it that time. Luckily, East has a pretty formidable lead. Gunert has yet to do any of mines, and East is just leaving it now. Anything could happen, like East could potentially die on Exo or, you know, maybe die on Essence, but at this point I'm thinking it's pretty hard to die at this point in the run, especially if you know what you're doing with Exo. East is actually doing quite good. I'm not gonna lie, like, if I were in his position, I would be pretty happy with the run so far. Huh. Terrible extra luck is still in the cards. Alright, so this is the last time we're gonna see Chozo Ruins. He just needs to come in here for Artifact of World, which he actually scanned the thing earlier because of the weird camera thing that happened earlier. Oh my god. That was such a dank strat. He managed to dash all the way to the peg instead of taking it slow and steady like most runners do. He also managed to get the ghost skip, which is a pretty tight trick where you need to unmorph and land on top of the little tiny peg there, which you might have saw him do. But yeah, ghost skip, you know, obviously, as his name implies, allows you to skip a Chozo fight ghost, or Chozo ghost fight. And it wouldn't have been a big deal because he actually has X-ray to fight the ghost quicker. But it's still just slow and it's a waste of time. Especially because there's another cutscene you need to watch, which is pretty sucky for a RTA setting like this. Oh wow, and he finally got that missile he missed earlier. I forgot about that. Let's see how his frigate crash site is this time. I did not get to see it last time. Wow, that was pretty good actually. Alright, and he's going to take the save at ship here. This ship is convenient because it's right before the final boss. And it refills your power bombs, your missiles, your health, everything. Oh wow, and he got ship dash too. It's not that hard, but it's kind of tight dash. And it skips going all the way around the room. There's backups that even if you fail the dash and then get the backup, it's still faster than going all the way around the room. But it's really cool looking dash, so it's pretty cool that he got it. Alright, coming up is probably the longest load in the game. A lot of runners like to write something here. Nice. East has to say F about this run. Thank you, East. Any Fs in chat for East? What you can see here on Gunert's screen on the left, he has Spider Ball, which allows him to just use the Spider Ball, obviously, to climb through the room. It's a little bit quicker, but the time save that you get by skipping Thardis vastly outweighs the time save. that you get by going through these rooms a little bit quicker. Alright, so what you may have noticed, for those of you who are eagle-eyed viewers, or if you know the run already, the boss was at full health almost a few seconds ago. But then East was a gamer, and he boosted into his chest. For some reason, Boost Ball does 50,000 damage per frame. For reference, fully charged Plasma Shot does 100 damage. Boosting into Ridley's chest will immediately pull him down to the second phase where he's not vulnerable to boost damage. For some reason, I don't know why, he is vulnerable to boost damage. That was a pretty good fight from East, actually. So now we are in the impact crater, the final area of the game. I don't think East... Wait, is he going for Exo Skip here? Oh my god. East is going for Exo Skip. Pog? This potentially could be... Alright, so what East is trying to do here is he had to get the Metroid into the other room by, like, positioning himself in the doorway while the thing is latching onto it. And then he did that successfully, so now what he needs to do is, like, he needs to... He wants to position the Metroid in a specific way where... I think this is good. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how to get this trick very consistently. I have done it, but he tried to position the Metroid in a good spot where it will, when it touches you with its claw, it pushes you out of bounds through a little tiny hole. Oh my god, he got it so fast. Dude, East is a gamer. This is incredibly pog. East unfortunately hit the bottom of the room here. Alright, so East needs to find the corner of the ether box here. Well, I guess now's a decent time to explain some of the side-of-bound stuff, but for those of you who don't know, one of the biggest memes in this game and its community is that every room is inside of a box, which is the case, obviously. Basically how this game works is I don't really know the specifics on how the engine works, but everywhere where there's not a room is called ether. Inside rooms, you have normal collision, and you have normal gravity. But outside of the room, you have what's called ether, and inside ether, you slowly float up at extremely slow rate. Um, if you find a corner of the ether box, then you have the option to ether jump up, which is what we call it. Um, it's just incredibly complicated, and I don't really feel like going into too much detail. But it's 3-frame jumps where you don't have to find a corner, but if you want to find a corner, then if you fail the 3-frame jump, then you fall back into the ether and you can try again. Otherwise, you have to do it with one wall, and if you fall once, you fall all the way down. That's what he was doing right there, was to find the corner and then ether jump all the way to the top. Rip. East unfortunately fell into the exo trigger. What's he gonna say? That was a unhappy face, I believe. It's really cool that he was going for exo there. Unfortunately, he did not get to finish the wall crawl because he hit the boss trigger out of bounds. Ooh. Maybe in his next race he'll get to show us. So what East is going to try to do here is he is going to stand right up in the boss's face to provoke it to do melee attacks over and over. And that way it doesn't spawn anything dumb like orbs or whatever. The way EXO works with its RNG is Plasma Beam and Ice Beam are the fastest. Like, they do the most damage on the EXO. There's 4 main subchambers. Subchamber 1, it only does Plasma, or no. Subchamber 1, it only does Power Beam and Wave Beam in any order. And then after that, it can do Ice, Wave, and Power in any order. And in the third subchamber, it can do any of the 4 beams in any order. It does one at a time. It can only do 1 beam at a time. Like, a 1 beam per subchamber. Like, or I guess a better way to explain it is just to say that, like, say it can only do Plasma Beam once in the 4th subchamber. It cannot do it twice. So you get each beam once. In subchamber 3, you get all 4 beams. In subchamber 4, however, it's just completely random, and it can be quite costly to lose a lot of time there. Well, I mean, huh. Wow. Yeah. I kind of just said the color red is because it's red. Or whatever. But, yeah. You can see Iced going for these snipes that allow him to do more damage into the next phase. Alright, so we're in September 4 now. It's actually pretty good news that we got Ice Beam to start. Oh, except for the fact that it missed. But, like I said, Ice Beam and Plasma are the fastest, and in September 4, it's completely random what you get. Alright, he got that snipe, which is good. Let's see if he gets the other one. Oh, dang. Alright, so Ice Beam to Plasma is actually very fast and very lucky. Let's see what he gets. Oh, yeah. And if he gets both snipes with Plasma, it's almost gonna end the entire phase. Coming up. Wow, he's cheating! Look at him cheating, guys. He keeps on cheating. What do I do about it? Is it gonna be Plasma? Oh my god, it's Ice! What a cheater! Literally. Oh my god, bro, boys. I guess most of you wouldn't know, but I like to say that when someone gets really good RNG on September 4, that it was cheating. Like Plasma Ice, Plasma Ice. Literally cheating. Forehead. Alright, so this is Essence. It's one of the, it's the last part of the game. So right here you're gonna see you stand still in one spot till the boss lays a pool. Because standing still manipulates Essence to lay a pool in a pretty good spot. Also, what the hell? Why did it, like... That's pretty stupid. It, like, punched East in the face. Anyway, right now you're gonna see him do attack cancels with the pool. So he is going to let Essence start out the animation, and then he's going to cancel the animation, thereby reducing, like, the boss has only a set number of animations you can do before the next pool is laid. And so by interrupting the animations over and over again, it's reduced as, like, it's basically lets the next pool spawn right away. And you do that for the first 2 pools. Let's see if you can get the fabled 3 pool here, which is what you want to get in a run. He's pretty low on health, which is kind of scary. Alright, for this last pool, the boss is going to, like, the way the pools work is that he's able to, if you're not in the pool, you can, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, he just finished the game. Congratulations to East for winning. But, right at the end there, you could see him entering and exiting the pool, because if you're in the pool and you exit the pool, you can still shoot for, like, a little bit, but it does not consume any of the ammo. And so you can use that to get extra damage on the boss and then continue shooting to finish the game with only using 3 pools. GG's to the runner. Doesn't look like Gunner is going to finish the game here. Gotta tell him to fix credits. Lol. Yay, he's fixing them. Let's see what he got. Spoiler alert, math OP. 113 Pog. I always gotta love that that flashing mission final screen because for some reason, I don't know exactly why, but it just renders weirdly. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Metroid Prime on the Nintendo GameCube. Shame it wasn't 111. Yo, sup?
Yo.
That was a good race, guys.
That's good to hear.
East, I'm proud of you for not making any 15-minute mistakes. Yeah.
I considered it. I definitely was like, maybe I should do the strat that loses 16 minutes. And then I decided not to. I did do the strat where you like get out of bounds and waste like 2 minutes doing the exo skip and then hit the cutscene trigger. Yeah, we can hear you, Gunner.
Sweet. I got blasted by Wave Sun.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did you have to like?
I had to reset twice.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, what's annoying is I didn't fail on the hard part of actually climbing the room. I failed on the easy part of boosting back into the room twice.
Oh.
Ugh.
Yeah, I fell down. I just like didn't land on the bomb slot the first time, and then I like climbed all the way back up and got in.
Ugh. I don't know. Well, I was feeling good when we started, but after Frigate, I just had a feeling that something was going to go wrong. And my nerves were all over the place this entire time.
Yeah, I felt really nervous on Frigate. I didn't safety save, and like as I got into the Morphball slot, I was like, oh my god, I should have safety saved. And then I was like, well, what if I go save now? Like the Parasite Queen cycle is going to be super fucked up. I was like, I'll just go for it. I'll just try not to fuck up Frigate too bad. And of course, I missed the door warp at the end, and I had to like fucking scale the outside of the first room and like fall into the cutscene trigger.
Oh my god.
It's the second time I've had to do that during a race, by the way. So I have a real problem with that door warp.
I thought it was really cool how you got out of bounds so quick.
Oh, for exo skip?
Yeah.
Yeah. So many things like happened in my brain, like when I did that like first hallway, I was like, oh, I've seen a lot of people just like do like a long L jump and land on like the area right in front of the next room. So I went for that and did not get anywhere close. And I never practiced that. I have no idea why. I was like, oh, I should just do this thing I've like never ever tried and have no idea like how to do, how it works, or how easy it is. So I just did some random other shit, and of course I fell. And then I had a lot of trouble scaling the room again. And then yeah, I went into Skywalk and I thought, you know, I could fall out of the Aether and just hit the cutscene trigger. I should just morph and land on the ceiling and then like unmorph and like so on and so on. But instead, I decided not to do that and to just keep walking. And of course, what did I do? I fell out of the Aether and landed on the cutscene trigger and had to fight Exo. It was like, oh my god, I was like screaming.
Well, all things considered, that's probably not the worst outcome that could have happened.
Yeah, I could have hit the trigger where
the strat that soft locks you.
Yeah, and I didn't save in Impact Crater because I've been having good exo skips lately. I thought the ship save was fine. I was like, if it goes real bad, then I can just use my ship save. But yeah, my exo, like the second subchamber, I had the worst RNG, which is Power Wave Ice. But then on the last subchamber, I had Plasma Ice.
You were literally cheating.
That is like actual cheating.
You.
The only thing that's like worse is like, or better, I guess, is if you can get him to do Plasma. But Exo like never does that. It like always switches back and forth.
Yeah.
I felt like my run was like part 1 hour and part like 1.5 hours. Like some rooms were oh my lord, can't stop myself. Some rooms were really fast, and some rooms are really terrible. Like ore processing, it looks like if you had tuned in while I was doing ore processing, you'd be like, "Ah, that runner has a 130." And if you tuned in when I was doing Fendrana's Edge, you'd be like, "That guy's fast." It just like it was
Yeah,
all
literally.
over the place.
I was super impressed. I hate that Fendrana's Edge strat.
Yeah, it's something that I practice like a lot because I made a tutorial on it. And I remember Caveberry gave me this one tip where there's like this small like slope. If you walk up it too far, you fall off. So it's like really like tight positioning wise. But if you stand like slightly up the slope, you don't need a ghetto jump or anything. You can just do 2 jumps and land on the tree. And ever since I started doing that, I like almost never miss it. But sometimes I do, and it's very, very horrible whenever you miss that jump because the pirates just make you upsetty very quickly.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know either until he was like, "Yeah, just walk up this ledge." That's like the strat he does in Ruin Nursery to get to the like artifact of life giver, where he just like stands on that obscure ledge that I had no idea existed. It's like what? That's when old people come back. They always bring like these like weird strats with them. Where you're like, "What? Why do we not know about that? Why does no one do that?"
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. For my run, I don't know. Like I said, my nerves were just all over the place. Like I could not get them under control. So everything up until mines was like just not good.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I got to mines and I was just schmoving through the entirety of mines. I don't know what happened. Like
nice.
everything up until Artifact Warrior, like I just nailed right on the spot. And then I got stuck on a computer monitor and had to fight the Elite Pirate. So
did you get or I guess did anything go wrong in mines really?
Other than having to fight the Elite Pirate, it was basically as perfect as I can reasonably get it.
Dang, that's
It's a little annoying.
Yeah, I don't think I really made a big mistake besides like my slow frigate escape until
Smooth and sorry.
I guess Wave Sun is when I fell in Wave Sun, and then I fell in IBBF twice. That was a huge bummer. When I did that, I was like, okay, the chances of this run being like on a good pace are kind of gone now, at least like relative to my PB. That made me a very sad boy. I like did the R jump in Furnace, no problem, and then like missed the L jump after, which is so me. Yeah.
Well, shafts didn't save me this time.
No,
Shafts?
actually,
Your shafts were super pog.
I feel like I got shaft 1 like first try
Nice.
or
That's
close.
right. I think he got them both first try.
Yeah.
Well,
Shaft 1, the only place I usually mess up shaft 1 is like just getting the angle and sticking in the wall because I feel like it's not actually deterministic. I feel like the game just hates you sometimes. I don't think that's actually true, but it feels like you can have the right angle and it'll still just hate you and kick you out. I don't really know how it works. I don't know if anybody knows exactly how shaft 1 really works.
probably not.
Right?
Shafts decide your fate.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
GG's East. Good luck with your future races.
GG's to you as well.
Yeah. Shame I couldn't be a better opponent, but that's how it goes.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad day.
Sometimes Prime just says no, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
like
happened.
my
My
race.
first
Yeah.
race. Pretty rough.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, you. Yeah. Mm.
well, GG's.
GG.
I'm gonna head out. So see you guys later.
GG's.